So I'm really pleased, as usual, to have Bashir from Ahmadi Fact Checkers blog, whatever the whole long title is. But it's always good. We've got a great friendship. People say we shouldn't be friends or something like that. We disagree. I'm friends with so many different groups of people, atheists, Islamophobes, whatever. But actually, we get along really well. Um, so but I was saying to Bashir, I'm going to try to wrap this up in 10 minutes. I don't think it will, but I'm going to whiz through things. So, quick intro. I'm an Ahmadi Muslim. The revival of true Islam, according to me, right? We've just based our teachings based on Islam. Bashir, ex Ahmadi, right? Um, but very passionate in his understanding of Islam, and we have regular live streams. But what is today about? It's about saving lives. Really, I don't like to mess around with I am more clever than you sort of discussion. I really don't care what people's opinions are, really, right? I mean, I care like to learn, but I don't care about being justified by anybody, right? So this live stream, let's see if I can do it in 10 minutes. I always have a document where people can like reference what I've said and stuff like that. I'm going to share my whole window because we've been between me and Bashir been sharing some videos and stuff, and so we might do a bit of that. Um, so not just one document. Let's see how this goes. So we were looking at like this video we were sharing and stuff like that, but this is the main one. This is in the description of the current videos. You can check it out right now. Do Palestinians want peace? That sounds like a, let's make this bigger as well. Let's get that. So people checking out already. Is that you checking it out or somebody else already in it? That's cool. Whoever's in it, that's great. Okay, so because I get like these little symbols, like people coming in and checking out. But anyway, um, first of all, what has this got to do with happiness? All my things are about like how do we make the world a bit better? Very quick answer: if we have peace, we save lives. That's fantastic. I'm going to give the really short version. I want to save lives. Ahmadi Muslim Palestinians are not only saving their lives, but also becoming successful. I should probably mention I'm in Jordan next to this whole conflict situation. Most of this country are Palestinian. I would say my view of what I've seen here and knowing Palestinians, knowing Ahmadi Muslim Palestinians is very different to what you see not just on mainstream media, but even social media. You think there's two points of view. One is like the Zionists, and the other is the other side, like the pro-Palestinian. There is a very different point of view that's not put out there. And I'm going to talk about that. And I'm talking about what the Quran has said to save lives. I'm going to say very quickly, if we do have comments, we will respond to them. I'm going to try to talk for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, we'll go through comments. If we last the whole hour, last 10 minutes would be nice to get other people on board on the live stream and quiz me, quiz Bashir, whatever, right? This is the really short version, okay, and it'd be controversial, and I think now I was saying to Bashir, even our own Ahmadi Muslims are avoiding saying this because it sounds so controversial, given that 10,000 Palestinians have died, and it's like like a cancer. Somebody gets cancer, right? You don't like it's not nice telling people that they've got cancer, but if you tell them and you can treat the problem, that's what we're doing here. So that might sound like what am I talking about? You understand what I'm talking about right now. Palestinians have been promised by God that good people will get Palestine. So I'll have all the references, we'll be reading them in a minute, right? Without effort. They will get Palestine without effort if they are good. Oh, what does that mean? Uh-oh, that means Palestinians are not good. That's what people don't want to hear, right? And I've got lots of references, videos. There is a very famous person who not interviews, he goes to Palestinians on the street, goes to Israelis on the street, and he's been doing for years and years and years. And I'm going to reference something. I'm going to show you, not really show you the whole videos, but I've got the references and I'll tell you roughly what was said. Okay. Okay. Evidence of that, very basic evidence at a high level, is that they sacrificed the lives of their children. And again, that sounds really harsh, right? The lives of their children for their land. Okay. They can leave Gaza. People don't understand this. They can leave. And many Palestinians, to their credit, they have left. Okay. Most of Jordan is Palestinian. Okay. God promises, on top of this, like you might say, how can you just leave your land? God promises them, anybody actually, that if they leave or migrate for the sake of God, God will give them abundance. Okay. Those are the words of God. I will go into references later. Okay, now a warning sort of thing. I don't know if you call it a warning or just try not to waste your time, Sunnis. I think it's worth mentioning this. Do not make gods of your scholars, the Quran says. Okay, just because your scholar says something doesn't make it necessarily true, doesn't mean you ignore it. Me and Bashir were just talking about this, right? It just means if you think you've got better evidence, provide it. That's it. Okay. Okay, so somebody said wrong reference. So if you click it, it goes to the right one. Maybe you're thinking of
Oh well,
105.
that's my comment. But 21106 has, I just pulled it up. It has nothing to do with the. Yeah, pull it up. Click on the link because I don't. I
Okay, yeah, let's look. Maybe let me see it. Let me see. Maybe something's wrong here. 106. Righteous servants will inherit the land.
Okay, hold on.
So that
21.
means if you're good, if you're good, this is just generally if you're good, and the land that is being referred to in the Book of David is Palestine, by the way. So you kind of have to check these things up. But anyway, in
Yeah.
short,
Hey.
inherit me.
Sorry about that. I had 21105. Rookie
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah,
Rookie
yeah,
mistake.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So for anybody trying to understand, because there's probably a lot of people who don't understand this, and Bashir does because he is an ex-Ahmadi. We Ahmadis number the Quranic verses differently because most Muslims do not consider the first verse Bismillah as part of the Quran, but we consider the Quran perfect. Therefore, the first verse must be the first verse. Anyway, so that's why most Muslims, for example, go to 105. And that's why I like to put links rather than saying, oh, Sunnis mean this and we mean this. And saying that 100 times is a bit boring. So it's just a link and it goes to the verse and job done sort of thing. Anyway, that's the really short version. Leave Palestine. Okay. And I'm going to give it even more. That's the really short version, but there's a bit more to it. Let's kind of whiz it. So actually, I won't even read this bit. I, I just don't want to get bored with who said what when sort of thing, right? Like 1 + 1 = 2, doesn't matter who said it. I want the facts. Yeah. And by the way, I think you were saying, Bashir, like the promised Messiah didn't, I can't remember what it was, but it sounded like the promised Messiah didn't say this, but the second Khalifa did. Okay. Sometimes as things kind of develop and history unfolds, you can say, oh, this points to this, and it's very clear, sort of thing, you know. The promised Messiah doesn't have to say every single prophecy that ever happened in the Quran, for example. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's my starting point, Bashir. Let's I kind of spoke for like 8 minutes. Actually, let me whiz through the whole thing really quickly in 2 minutes, the
Yeah,
rest of
and
it, yeah.
just really quick, I just looked up
Yeah.
21105, and if you look at the context, this is referring to Jannah. You will inherit the land. I just pulled it up into Tafsir Suyuti. Anyhow, I'm sorry to break your flow.
That's
Continue, and
fine.
then
That's fine. No, no, no. I mean,
whenever
I
you're
can
done, we'll go
prove.
back.
Yeah, sure. I can prove that it's not. But anyway, of course I can. But yeah, that's anyway. So generally disappointing how even Sunni Muslims have responded to peace efforts. This is why I'm questioning: do Palestinians really want peace? Like they're willing to give up their lives for land. That can't be right. And so Ahmadi Muslims have been trying to work on peace even in Israel, with people who actually want, Jews who want peace. So, and we got lots of nasty comments from Sunni Muslims. Yep. So the Quran says, I'm trying to do this really quickly. The Quran says, if you migrate, Allah will reward you. Like Allah is the most powerful. Why depend on one tiny piece of land? And I'm going to explain how you get your land back anyway, right? Just logically speaking. And this is explanation to the reason why it's not heaven. We will talk about that shortly. These are the things you might not want to hear, right? So there's a famous channel. Let me just, if people might have seen it. So there's a famous channel, I think it's called the Ask Project. Okay, I don't know if you've seen. Have you ever seen this, the Ask Project? They, for a very long time, at least 10 years or something, I think. This guy goes to Israel and Palestine and asks like questions from either side. Okay, and this one's talking about adultery, sex outside marriage, and a lot of the Palestinians saying, "Yeah, it's all right for men." Right, so it's really weird. It's just some sort of cultural thing. So also, they don't seem to know Islam. They're happy with suicide bombing. They think it's normal part of war. So yeah, I don't need to load up all of these videos. And they don't look for peace like the Quran teaches them to. So you say, how can the Palestinians look for peace? Well, you have to look for peace at any given opportunity there is, if other people are willing to. But they're saying no. For example, they say all the Jews should just get out. There's no two ways about it. Um, that's what they're saying in these videos, and we get a different impression when they're getting bombed. Trying to be really quick because I've gone over 11 minutes. There's loads of examples of what I'm talking about. But this is basically okay. And then, okay, what are the key things I want to talk about? Forgiveness is essential. Palestinians are not fighting jihad because, according to the Quran, if they were fighting jihad, they would have won. Okay. And the Quran also, there's a bigger picture, which is, why are the Muslims not united? If they're all so wonderful and Ahmadis are all the worst and all this kind of stuff, so where are all these wonderful Muslims? They should be uniting. And for example, the Muslims have huge oil power. They could stop this immediately. And the Quran gives advice about working together. That's my really quick overview. Yep. Bashir, any thoughts?
Yeah, so if you can scroll up that first, oh yeah, it's already there. 21:106. Can you pull up the Quranic verse? Can you
Yep.
click on that? So you said the word is
Yep.
Palestine.
Coming up.
They're talking about Palestine here, right? And it's not you. It's the 5-volume commentary of
Yeah.
the official 5-volume commentary. Now we don't have MGA's comments on this verse, so we don't really know. But scroll over the top of that Arabic. The word shall inherit the land is arad. Nope, back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope, go
Yeah.
back
Wait, wait, the
right there.
land. Yeah. Which is
Arad.
Earth. Yeah. Which means Earth.
That does
Yeah.
not
Earth. Yeah. Yeah.
mean
Yeah. Yeah.
Palestine. Now, so that's the
Okay.
first
Quick
issue.
answer. I'll show you because obviously I've done. No,
Well,
but let me respond because it's really simple answer. This verse is actually referring to the Book of David, the Psalms. Okay, and you can do some research on this. This is a very famous prophecy. Loads of Christians know this prophecy as well. The meek, they say the meek will inherit the earth, the righteous will inherit the earth. These are famous prophecies, right? And this is specifically referring to, and I've got it somewhere. Let me see. I've got the biblical verse, Psalm 37:9. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. The land being referred to is white. These are known by Christians to be referring to the promised land or Palestine or Canaan. This is where the Jews, that's their homeland, is referring to. So anyway, you can check that up, but this is well known.
So,
So that's just a quick answer.
so,
It's referring to that.
so, okay. Why did, and I posted the link, why did Tafsir Ibn Kathir say it's the earth? Why is that word, the technical word? So the Quran disagreed with that verse of the Bible and said, "Meh, it didn't mean Philistine, didn't mean Canaan, didn't mean that. He said the earth. And there's no, so what should we do? We have a situation where the Ahmadis come with
No,
this
you're right.
new.
No, go on, carry on. But
Yeah.
there's a simple answer to that as well.
Yeah, so first off, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad didn't say any of this. I don't even think he commented on this verse. We don't know,
Cool.
right?
Okay.
And for us to have this conversation, we got to go to the source for your information, which that's the source. Um, so we don't know what he said. We know in the 5-volume commentary published in 1988, we don't even have that one. You got the newest one pulled up, so we don't even know if it's in the 1988 edition. In the newest edition, it's claiming that it's Palestine. Historical records tell us it's not. What do? We follow the historical records, and the word is not Philistine. The word is Arad, which almost always means the earth in the Quran. When does the Arad mean anything else than earth in the Quran?
Sure. Okay, I'll give you a quick answer. First of all, the Quran is specifically talking about this book of David, right? It's giving a reference. And so the Quran is, so God has clearly preserved this part of the Bible so there wouldn't be a contradiction. Makes sense, right? Otherwise, why would God refer to that? Makes sense. But even generally, there are multiple meanings like you can refer to. So you can say Ard, which is the more wider context, right? And the wider context is, yes, not just Palestine, but generally the whole world, the righteous will inherit the world. This is the prophecy, right? People who are good. And I'm going to talk about this, that how that practically plays out. Okay. So relatively, compared to atheists, Muslims are better, right? And guess what's happening in England and probably lots of other places? We're taking over and we're inheriting it. Without having a war, the mayor of London is a Muslim. The person in charge of Scotland is a Muslim. You can just keep going. And the whole Israeli propaganda thing is trembling and falling apart because, for example, I don't know, you probably don't know much about British politics, but I mean, I don't know how much. But basically, for example, the top politicians who are controlled by the Jews um, are told, you have to follow a certain line, and all the lower people who depend on the votes of the local people, and the local people are increasingly becoming Muslim, they're scared. They're scared of they're losing their position, and they're scared, and they really want to vote, protest in favor of Palestine, and so the ground is breaking between but below them already. Do you know what I mean? Like because of the massive increase in Muslims. So like this is like I like to explain things logically as well. Like this is not just a belief, you can see it happening. So yeah, the righteous will inherit the earth. And why does that happen? Why is it that the Muslims are winning? Okay, is because the more you follow the teaching of Islam, then your marriages will work, and then your families will grow, and you'll have loads of kids. And when you don't, look at what's happening to the atheists. Do you know that there's a population implosion? Do you know about this? Right? It's because you muted yourself, but it's okay. We understood. You said yes, right? But yeah, the point is that when you don't follow religion, you don't follow God's way, you're in big trouble, right? So I don't think Muslims are perfect, but at least they're following God's way way more than the atheists and stuff like that, and they're winning. Simple as that, you know? And so you can see the proof of the righteous will inherit the earth. Inherit means like you get it automatically. The Israelis, or the Zionists, they're forcefully taking it. The Americans are forcefully taking it, but they will fall apart. It's all falling apart already. There's lots of problems. Even in America is imploding in itself. There's so many problems. All right, Israel is imploding on itself. So I've written a lot of stuff here, right? But I would say what yeah, that's. I mean, I quickly finished my point on this. A lot of people also don't know that Palestinians are a major part of the workforce of Israeli companies because Israeli companies, they can't do, their people are too lazy, right? There's a good reason. It's like even in England, the reason why Muslims are allowed into the country, even though they don't want them there, is because the atheist types, they get depressed and they can become really useless. They can't do the hard work. And so they need Muslims and other ex-religious countries like Poland and stuff like that to run their farms and stuff like that. And so they inevitably need the migrants. Now, if the Palestinians were to leave, Israel fall apart. There's loads of reasons why it fall apart. You've got the ultra orthodox Jews who are basically useless. They don't work. All they do is study the Bible. Okay, and then you've got the main workers or the techie people. The people like the cosmopolitan types who are in Tel Aviv and stuff like that. They're the ones who do the pride. Like they're famous for like allowing all sorts of craziness, right? Like being homosexual and all that kind of stuff. They're the ones who aren't having many children. They've got all the same problems as Westerners have, right? That whole country is going to fall apart. Like you've imported basically lots of criminals who are happy, the settlers who are happy to take other people's lands. All of that is recipe for disaster for them. Just leave them alone, they will destroy themselves. Especially without the Palestinian workforce who do the fundamentals of keeping the country going, it'll be a disaster. Anyway, I've talked a lot. I've given a justification for what I'm saying. I started from the Quran. And I just say, in short, Palestinians should save their lives. God will bless them outside the country and bring them back very quickly anyway. Anyway, what do you got to say about that, Bashir?
The last bit, man, I totally disagree. That's like me telling the Native Americans to move into the ocean. Or that's like me telling the Native Americans to move to Mexico. Bro, I can't say that. You said it. I don't know how you said it. I don't know what that's about.
Tell me how the Quran is wrong then. Did I not refer to it?
Scroll all the way up and let's talk about that verse first.
Cool. Okay, so let's look at the one about if you.
Well, it was the very first one.
This one. And whoso migrates from. Do you disagree with this bit? Because that's what you just said.
Scroll all the way to the top. Scroll all the way to the top.
But you just said you don't want people migrating.
That's a different verse, and we can talk about that in just a sec. So again, you're isolating the verses and not double checking and triple checking. And it looks like you use Google Bard again. This is not your own research. This is what the AI.
No, this is my research. It doesn't matter. Okay. Like you can just tell me how I'm wrong, rather than
can you scroll up to the top? Scroll up to the top.
Yeah.
It's 17104. Okay. So the first one you started. No, keep going.
17104 about the Jews coming back.
Yeah, that's not even. But can you scroll to the top?
Yeah, I left out because I thought it wasn't 100% relevant. Yeah, go on.
Oh,
basic.
So okay.
It's nice to have, but it's going to get into complicated debate about like different tiny details.
Wow, that's what we're going to do. So look, firstly, what you said, I can't believe I heard that, but okay, that's your opinion. You can have an opinion. That's probably the MD sentiment, honestly. So anyhow.
So what part of can't you believe I said like that you should save your lives
and just move? Okay.
Yeah, but
I don't even think
you don't believe in saving your lives.
Bro,
saving their children.
Bro, they are not being allowed to move.
No, they are allowed. First of all, they are allowed.
So where?
I just told you.
Jordan?
Most of Jordan is Palestinian. Where do they come from?
So because it's a neighboring
don't follow
country.
All the usual things you've
Wait,
been told.
So you're saying the West Bank should be depopulated from Muslims and Palestinians? They should all move to Jordan. The Gaza should be depopulated, and they should all be sent to Egypt because it's right there. It's the nearest metropolis. Okay, yeah, I disagree with that. Sure. But anyhow, let's go back further.
So you're happy for people to die for their land? Is that what you're saying?
No,
like literally children.
No. I'm saying there should be I'm saying this is a proxy war between Russia and its allies versus NATO, America, and its allies.
Sure.
And in this case, it's also happening in Ukraine, in the Sudan, in Yemen, in Syria, in different parts like northern Iraq, like ISIS.
All of that, Okay, all
Vietnam.
of these people, they don't care about the Palestinians. The Russians don't care about the Palestinians. The Israelis don't. They're happy to use them and get them killed, right?
Yeah,
Even the
so
Israeli.
the Palestinians are innocent. Let's not ever say the
Of
Palestinians are
course, they're.
totally innocent, and the
Well,
Russians are in there, and
listen.
they're giving money to Hamas and weapons and saying, hey, go and do this, go and do that,
All
and
I'm
this is
saying,
what they're running.
all I'm saying, it's nice having all these ideas of how the world should be, but this is how the world is right now. And if you care about human being or care about Palestinians, you say, you know what, save your children, don't die. You know, even if I was in a bad neighborhood, like some gangsters, I would leave the neighborhood. It's not like, oh no, why should I migrate? No, I'll just leave. That's how it is, right? I'll
Yeah,
go to a better place.
okay, I understand your position.
Yeah,
We disagree. It's okay to
sure,
disagree. But let's go
sure.
back to the verse 17:104. Now, before we get to the verse, what did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad say about Jewish people getting back to Israel?
So I don't know. I don't care about all the references. I just say what makes sense, right? So this is the reason why I avoided it because it's kind of like complicated. But I left it out, but I can go back to this one, which
No,
has the
but
reference.
brother, the answer is very
This the
simple.
104.
No. Mirza
Yeah.
Ghulam Ahmad, what did Mirza Ghulam Ahmad never quoted that verse? I've never seen him ever quote that verse ever. I haven't found it.
Listen.
Maybe maybe
Fine,
it's
fine,
there.
whatever.
But
Because
but 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 what did
it's
he
in the
say?
it's in yeah, gone.
What did he say about Jews going back to Israel? He made, I got three references: 1882, 1893, and after he died, 1908. He said, I found three instances. What did he say?
I don't know. Go on, you tell me. Because this is what the Ahmadi Muslims say in their like 5 volume commentary. It's the thing that most people reference, right? So go on. So okay, and what we say is that says, and after him we said to the children of Israel, dwell ye in the land, and when the time of the promise of the latter days come, we shall bring you together out of various peoples, right? But anyway, that sounds, if we take that translation as it is, that sounds like very clearly what's happening at the moment. Where do the Jews come from? We're talking about the children of Israel. They came from different countries, different peoples, back to Palestine. But there could be, I avoided it because there's a massive debate about like, oh, what does this word mean, that word? And it wouldn't massively affect, it wouldn't basically, I want to save Palestinian lives. And this is kind of like an academic side thing. Like, did God bring the Jews to Israel themselves? Like that would be a nice discussion on the side, but not the main one. But anyway, what does the promised Messiah say according to you?
Yeah, not according to me. He says in his book, Brahini Ahmadiyya Volume 2, he
So
says
I
the
share your
Jews.
screen, yeah? Because you are you trying to? Do you want me to share that?
Sure. Actually, yeah, and the reference from yeah, and then scroll all the way to the top. Look
Yeah,
for
you're
everyone.
in.
Yeah. Oh, I can scroll. No, it won't let me scroll.
Oh, really? You were
Uh
scrolling a second ago. Go on, scroll
oh
again.
no, it's not letting me scroll. I mean,
Oh,
exit
it's not.
screen.
It's frozen.
Huh?
Okay, maybe it's that's weird. Why didn't it... Okay, if I remove and then scroll again, because I saw it scrolling a second ago. Scroll the
Oh, cause
page.
when I was on the page, it might have been. There it is. We can scroll if I'm on the page and I'm doing the scrolling.
Yeah. So, oh no, yeah, it's moving. There you go.
Okay, well, I can't see it. So on this essay, I got to go back and add it. In Brahini Ahmadiyya, he said the same thing. He said, those Jews upon Allah has imposed throughout humiliation, and they will live under powers of other kings, will never have their own country. This is what Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said. This is is it Hamamatul Bushra? Yeah, it's Hamamatul Bushra. And there's another one in Brahini Ahmadiyya. And then after he died, volume 5, Brahini Ahmadiyya, they will be human and they will live under other powers. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is totally against what his son said. So his son comes and says the opposite. He says, and brother, in my opinion, where did he get this revelation from? Because First off, it contradicts Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's entire story. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said, and so he was equating this with the Jews accepting the Messiah. And he said, and as we all know, in Judaic scripture, the Jews will not return to Israel until the Messiah returns. This is like a fact. In fact, there's like Jews who are against Zionism who will bring this up and say, look, it's not even fit, it's not right. Let's get out of there, whatever. So look, he said the opposite of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And I'm not saying what to do with it. I'm just stating the facts, which is what I do.
So I mean, every time I've checked your references, they weren't correct. They're just like incorrect. So anyway, so that's what I'll put out there. We will check your references or send me your links and stuff at some point. But every time I check your references, they're wrong.
Brother, I've never heard that in all these years.
We've just debated recently. You said something
Which
about
reference?
like the philosophy of the teaching of Islam, and we were looking at the words, and it's like, come on, basic English. Like we were talking about if somebody makes advances to your wife, you should, and your wife's like happy with it. And the Promised Messiah said you should leave her, right? And then you said like, oh, would you leave her? Like I said, would you leave your wife if she was happy with people chatting her up and stuff like that, you know, and saying let's have sex, and she's like, yeah, let's go.
Right,
for
but
it.
but the reference wasn't wrong. Your interpretation versus my interpretation, and same thing here. But the reference is not wrong. What I said is there.
Yeah.
And the way you read it is, of course, because I wouldn't expect you to read it from a neutral perspective the way I can read from a neutral perspective. But anyhow, the reference was not incorrect. And none of my references...
The way you said it in that particular case was like, oh, if somebody's just talking to your wife, you should divorce her. It's like that wasn't what was said. It was clearly not what was said. Anyway.
Well, no. If someone's talking to your wife, bro, in 2023, they're flirting in an indirect way. So that's an entirely, but again, the reference was correct. The interpretation was different between me and you, but all of our look at the verse 17:104. Look at all the verses we brought up. We have different interpretations. Anyhow,
yeah,
this right here is a lie by the second Khalifa. There was no revelation that ever came to MGA that has these words. In this way, in this sentence, I've searched Tazkara, find it. So remember, in 1924, where did he go in 1924? Do you know?
No. Where did who?
The second Khalifa.
Where did he go? I don't know.
He went to London.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. Yep, there's
and he went and met the Queen.
Mosque was, yeah.
They don't say he officially met the Queen, but we know he most likely met the and etc. And I think he did meet the Queen.
Is that when? I think that was when the London Mosque, which is the first mosque in London, was made, right?
Right. Well, it wasn't open to 2 years later. I think he laid the foundation, and then like 2 years later or something like that. So anyhow, he stops in Haifa, which is really close to Kababir. It's like a few miles.
Yeah, Haifa is where our mosque is. Yeah.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden, after he meets the Queen in London, he stops in Israel, he makes these statements which are totally against Islamic history, totally against everything. Okay, so is he a Zionist? I think he is. I think he's secretly supporting the British government. Well, we know he's openly supporting the British government, but he's, some things are behind the scenes going on, and some things are in front of the scenes.
So I missed something. Like, how did you jump to the conclusion that he's a Zionist? So he went to Haifa, where we have a mosque, and what was wrong?
At the time, there was no mosque. There was no community. 1924, right. the community didn't start till 1928.
Okay.
So in 1924,
I don't know if you're right, but you could be right. Who knows?
Yeah, he stops through. I think he might have even went to Damascus. I have it. You know what? Let me. Okay, watch this.
So my grandfather, he's one of the early first Ahmadis in Damascus. He might have been alive that time. So
you're partially Arab?
No, my wife's grandfather.
Okay.
So I feel like he's my grandfather. Yeah.
So look. So you can see this. Look at the detail that I've tracked this. No one's tracked it like this, brother. Okay, I'm in the D. Look, I even got the crew he went with.
Oh, should I? Oh, yeah. So let me put this. Let's see if it scrolls. It scrolls. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, yeah. So look, brother, I got all the dates, brother. Who does? So on July 31st, uh, he traveled to Jerusalem, Haifa, and Damascus, right? Which is like, wow. He's, because you'd have to think he's on a train or on a horse, a buggy or something, right? This is
Sure.
1924. You wouldn't. Maybe he had a car. Cars were around, but you had to be rich. Um,
Yeah.
so from there, he went to Italy. Look, I've tracked the whole thing, brother. I've
That's
tracked the
good.
whole
So
thing.
he went on a trip to. He goes all over the world. He's supposed to be a religious leader for the whole world. What's the big deal?
No. He leaves India. He goes through through Arabia, the Red Sea, comes through the Suez Canal, stops at Haifa.
Okay.
Stopped in Egypt a little bit, right?
I,
Oh, he
am
stopped
not.
in
I'm not
Yemen.
sure what your point is. You're saying he's a Zionist because he went there.
So he shows up in London, and then he comes back, and he gets unprecedented access to here. Let me share again. He gets unprecedented. I mean, so it's sort of a mystery, but let me get to the point here. Let me get to the point where I know we're short on time. So anyhow, I'm saying he fabricates this reference, and this is the evidence that he's a Zionist. In my opinion, he's supporting it. He's talking about the present influx of Jews, and then why does he make this up? I mean, someone find this in any of his books. It's simply not there, right? And then in 1928, Maulvi Jalaluddin Shams shows up. He's in Syria. He runs from Syria, et cetera, et cetera. Here's a photo, and then I got it all, 19 to 31. But then check this out. So look, you ever seen a photo of the first mosque in Kababir? That's what the first one looked like. And then in the
Okay.
80s, they like made a new one. Okay.
Cool.
Then look, now, is it temporary, brother? Is the state of Israel a temporary situation?
Yeah.
Okay, that contradicts the verse of the Quran that the second Khalifa was quoting. The second
What do
Khalifa
you mean?
said, and I even have it pulled up. Okay, check this out. Chapter 33. So the second Khalifa changes his mind.
So okay,
Initially,
go
he
on. I'll
says,
check it up for you if you
look,
want. I
look,
don't
look,
know. What do you wanna?
I just pulled it up. Can you see it? Chapter
Yeah.
33, verse 62. 5 volume
Okay.
commentary, right?
Sure.
Official 5 volume, I think 2018. Look, under 3122, you see that?
Okay.
3122. Oh,
Um, can you zoom
actually,
in a little bit?
it's 3121. It's 3121. So it's this one. They will be accursed wherever they are found. They will be seized and cut into pieces. And you're like, well, what? Well, he says,
Which verse are we talking about?
chapter 33, verse 62 in your Quran.
Okay. Then they will, because it's a bit blurry,
Look, just
but
read at the
can
bottom. He
you read
says,
it? Can you read it out? Can
yeah,
you read it out?
it is an established fact of history that the ignominy and humiliation have dogged the footsteps of the ill-fated, sorry about that, the ill-fated Jewish people throughout the ages. Their return to Palestine and the establishment of the Republic of Israel seems to be only a temporary phase,
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly what he said I think in Tafsir Ibn Kathir, because I wasn't able to get that. But look, uh, so first he's saying it's part of the
Yeah, I
second
still
coming.
do think. I think Israel is going to collapse on itself. Yeah.
Yes,
I think it's not going to last much longer. Yeah.
so that contradicts the verse of the Quran then, because the
Which,
verse of the
okay.
Quran, we
Yeah.
understand it to mean when the Messiah comes,
Which verse are you talking about now?
17:104.
Okay. Right.
So look, here's and I think it's Anwar Anwar al-Ulum, Anwar al-Ulum, Jil 25, and then
So
there's
why? Okay. So what's the contradiction? Are you saying that this means that it's not temporary? I don't know how you
so
got the
now it's temporary.
contradiction.
The verse of the Quran is saying when the Messiah comes, that's when they will return. That's what the Jews believe. That's what we
Okay.
believe. They will
They will
return and
return.
they will convert to Islam, like chapter 4, verse 159 of the Quran claims. But now he's saying this is all temporary.
Yeah. The state of Israel and the persecution of the Palestinians. Yeah. Temporary. Yeah.
So if it's temporary, why should the Palestinians move? So that's a side point. But anyhow,
Yeah.
if you go through
Exactly for that reason. They'll move out It'll fall apart. They'll come back. They'll be invited back, just like Muslims are already taking over England, for example.
Right. So if you go through my entire essay, I got a bunch of facts, there was a thesis by Ray Register. Not sure if you read that from 1970. But yeah, so that's pretty much so okay. And I wanted to talk about some other things. I want to talk about the recent thing that you showed, the
Should,
Palestinian
yeah, let's have a look at that. I think
Sharif
that's
Ode.
really
Well, Sharif Ode
worthwhile.
lied in that. Do you see the transcript? And Analyst News is an AMD news channel. Are you aware of that?
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
actually on the very bottom. Here, let me uh
Anyway, so okay, fine. It's an
there's a
Ahmadi news
transcript.
channel.
Here. Let me send you
Sure.
I'm going to post the transcript and pull it up of what he said. Okay, this is my other. So he also said, and you know what you said is right. If you're an Ahmadi, you're getting a job. You're doing great in Israel. You're a Muslim, bro. It ain't working out, and that's what they want. They don't want Muslims. That they say, hey,
No, they
convert.
have Muslims. They have Muslim judges. They have lots of people in the different positions, right? But you can be either frustrated or work with it. If you're going to be part of the country, be a useful part of the country and work with it. Otherwise, leave and go to another place you don't like. I
Yeah,
mean, you
and
do like, right? And they've got lots of options.
the Muslim judges are only do deal with Islamic cases. In fact,
Yeah,
there's an
listen.
issue with Muslims marrying Ahmadis, and I pulled it up they had to nullify nikahs.
So, did you
And
want to look at this video? Is that what you're talking
no,
about, right?
in the chat, I posted the Analyst News transcript. Can you pull that up? It's the last comment. In the
Okay.
did
I
did
mean,
you see
since
that?
we're here, look, this is a really nice peace conference where Jews are basically saying, we want peace as well. This is wrong what's happening to the Palestinians. Okay. And then you've got a mix of Ahmadis are not Muslim, they're not Qadianis, their mosque is not a mosque. It's like people are dying. That's what these other Muslims care about, right? Okay. And then you've got people who actually care about humanity and saying, this is really effective. Thank you for trying to make a difference. But anyway, you're in the chat, in the private chat, or
Oh,
where?
in the
What are you
public
saying?
chat. In the public, you know what? Let me also put it in the private chat.
No, I mean, yeah, I can't see anything in the public chat. Like
Okay,
you said,
okay.
a link to
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. To the Analyst News, and this is
Okay,
a
yeah,
strategic way of making news channels that are Amdi's are running it, but they're making it sound like it's not. So it's in the private chat.
yeah. So I put it up. Yeah.
So scroll down. What did Sharif O'Day say, and what if he told some lies? Right. So
Okay,
okay, he
let's see
said.
what lies gone.
Okay, quite interesting. Okay, I'm saying keep going down, keep going. Let's see the professor. Yada yada. Yep. Keep going. But what did he actually say? Okay, keep going. Yep. Okay. Yep. Keep going. Oh, right. Is that it? He says jihad. Where did it go? West Bank. Okay. No. Right there. Scroll up. It was right there. Scroll up. Just okay. In the Holy
Jihad.
Quran, the word jihad was never mentioned in the context of war. That's a lie. Chapter 9, there's like 4 instances in chapter 9. You do jihad with your life, not just your
Okay, let's
property.
see. Interesting. I'm not.
And brother, that's disingenuous. So why is he saying this?
Let's see. Anyway, let's see. So, what were you saying? Maybe I don't know. Let me see. It is interesting. So, what was that? You said chapter 9. What?
Where to go? Chapter 9, verse 41. So for you, it might be 42.
Okay. Okay, maybe 41. Property and persons and the cause of Allah. Okay, just say jihad somewhere here. Jihad. Yep, strive. Property and persons. But yeah, and persons could mean war as well, potentially.
Yeah, bro. So that's the first issue. Is we're
Potentially. It's
saying
not like definitely fighting, but yeah. But of
we're
course,
and look,
fight.
Amnes didn't even say Mirza Ghulam Ahmad didn't even say this. So he's lying. So I found a live on the second Khalifa in
I'm not
Israel.
sure if you found a lie. We just looked at it. It doesn't look exactly like a lie, but it's maybe based on interpretation. But listen, he's saying that word jihad is not used in that particular case. Okay, maybe he shouldn't have said it that way because there is fighting that's allowed to defend yourself and things like that. But yeah, maybe he could write in a
We all
better way.
know,
That's
bro,
true. Fair enough.
if you're oppressed and they kick you out of your house, is what Allah said, and they kick you out. Okay, war is allowed, but so
No,
see,
jihad is okay. Jihad is a religious war, by the way. But anyway, yeah. And this is a land grab war anyway. This is because this is not religious war because they're fighting Christians. They're fighting. There's even Jews who are Palestinian as well. But anyway, go on.
yeah, so okay. First he said that. Now go back to the analyst news. He said something, said some other thing. So we were curious. What did he say? And there ain't no Muslims there. I didn't see any Muslims.
I saw at least a Muslim lady, yeah, and
Maybe she was
apparently
in
there were
Amity.
different.
So I'm differentiating. Where are the Muslims who live in the locale of
Okay, they said that a whole bunch of different people were there, so
We didn't see him. We didn't see him. So look,
you
scroll
didn't
down. He
see
said some
them.
other.
Crowd of Muslims, Jews, Christians, and Buddhists.
Yeah,
I don't
when
know.
they say Muslims, they mean Ahmadis. They didn't mean the
Okay,
local Muslim
fine.
community. But scroll
Okay,
down.
fine.
He said some other
Everybody's
things.
usually well. So just to put this in context, as you're saying this, like we have similar events even in London, and everybody's welcome always. We've always had lots of different groups of Muslims and everybody, and so we've got Christians, Jews, Buddhists. We're not like that kind of thing. But maybe if most other Muslims are just hating on us, maybe they don't want to turn up. What can we do if they don't want to come?
Right.
Anyway,
So scroll down. What else did he say? Because he said something else that piqued my interest. Keep going. Keep going. It
that's
was
good
right.
research. You notice stuff a lot. It's good. It's good. I
Brother, this
appreciate
is
anybody who
what I
makes an
do all
effort.
day. This is what I do
I
all day.
appreciate anybody who makes an effort. Go on.
Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, that was jihad. Then he said, "Today I spoke to the head of our community in West Bank, who used to identify with the ideology of Hamas. He is against them now." Why did he say this? Well, he's saying it to say, "Look, this guy used to be a terrorist. He converted to Ahmadiyya, and now he's great."
Yeah,
So this
actually, I know people like that. I know people so they're all peaceful. They're doing very well. They're not disturbing the government. Okay, just making progress for their country. We don't have. We'll be very clear about this. We don't have people throwing rocks and then getting shot for it, right? We're peaceful people. We're well known for it, and it doesn't make any. It doesn't help. And Hamas is just causing trouble. Hamas is causing trouble because they felt, okay, I'll put it this way, and I don't know if you agree, but I think it's quite plain to see. Israel baited Hamas. They opened the doors and they let them shoot their own people because Israel doesn't care about Jews. They don't care about the settlers. Okay, they use them to get shot so that it can come and massacre the Palestinians as an excuse, right? Okay, they baited the Hamas, right? Hamas are not good news. Okay, and they were doing un-Islamic things by killing women and children. That's against the rules of jihad, right? So good that they're not like Hamas. And I've seen some really lovely people who were basically, you could say, have this terrorist mindset, and now they're really soft people and lovely people, and they're useful parts of the community rather than the self-destructive thing. Which, if you look at the videos that I've listed, okay, of how the Palestinians talk, they don't seem to understand Islam. They think suicide is okay. They think suicide bombing and killing people indiscriminately is fine. They do, but it's in the videos I've listed. So do check in the description, where there's a very famous guy who goes and asks people what they think. Ask Palestinians in the West Bank and wherever what they think. Israelis and Jews as well, what they think. I did say I'm going to go through comments. Let's go through them really fast, both of us. So you made the first one. Somebody said Assalamu
Hey,
alaikum.
no, one last
Go
thing.
on. Go on. You said the one last thing. Go on.
Can
Yeah.
you go to the bottom of this page? I think the disclaimer is there that this is ran by the Ahmadiyya movement.
Okay, that's fine. I don't mind.
I think it might have. It's like a weird disclaimer. It's not the bottom. It's just above the bottom. Scroll up more. Scroll up. No. Scroll. It should be coming. Keep going. Keep going. Right there.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
Affiliated with the international academic community to learn more and more ethics and standards. Blah 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 about page. Okay, cool.
Slick.
Okay.
And okay. Let me be clear. The Palestinians don't want to die. They're not into terrorism. They are not ignorant people.
Actually, they
They
say
are
that all the time that they're happy to die for their land, but people
well,
don't
well, well I
see
mean,
that.
brother, anyone with brother, I grew up in California. I was ready to die for my street.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's not. It's a waste of your life doing that.
Well,
Okay.
but no. So look. So remember, there's different kind of people. Some are soft men who never had to work outside, who never. Okay, then you got strong men. Look, you're not gonna come around the man running your mouth thinking you're not gonna get smacked. You see what I mean? So I come from the gangster class. Okay, we say we're ready to die for a nickel for nothing. Okay, especially the young boys.
Life.
Brother,
Okay, fine.
I'm just telling you,
Sure.
the young lions. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. And they know they're Shaheed. You'll be Shaheed anyways. So you can
Not
have that
everybody's
opinion, brother.
Shaheed. Depends what you're doing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, but brother, you can have that opinion, but I strongly disagree. I know hella Palestinians. I love them people. They are peace. That's like me saying the Native Americans are this and that. I could never say that. I could never say that about the indigenous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't, I do, I feel sorry for Palestinians. There's so many people dying. I rather they and their children survive. Let's whiz through this and let's get possibly somebody to jump on if they want. Okay. So, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna get the link. Where did I put the link? Where is it? So hide this invite. So I'll get the link out for anybody who wants to join. And meanwhile, we'll be whizzing through the comments. Okay, assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Thanks for your kind comments, Sabah. I absolutely disagree with Khalid's view. Amity fact checkers blog is amazing. I've checked that reference, and MGA said the Jews will never have their own country. I don't think Khalid Safa yeah, I don't know how to read Urdu is correct. 79% of people of Gaza wanted armed intervention. That doesn't surprise me. You don't really hear that. Um, Khalid is just gaslighting. If you do not have first-hand knowledge, don't gaslight. At the very least, if you don't know, well, I'm reading the Quran and I'm trying to analyze it logically, and I'm happy for people to tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, by the way, you can jump. So I'm going through this really quickly. Do you want to respond to any of these? The above is a reference to the timeline. So I think this is
To the
something
travels that
used.
I had listed. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're cool with that. Of course, it's a lie. Jihad is a well known word for Islamic history used for the purpose of physical war. Cool. But all I was saying is in that particular context, it wasn't used. Like when you are told about fighting, the word jihad wasn't used in the ones that I know, right? So the word jihad that we just looked at, it didn't say fighting, okay? It says striving, and even it's a famous thing. You know this probably, Bashir, that the Prophet Muhammad said the great jihad is, fixing yourself. I can't remember exactly what, working against your own evil deeds. Um,
And by
no,
the way,
go on.
that's not the major theme. That's like a Sufi concept. We can talk about that next. We can go deeper
Sure.
into that. But yeah,
Sure. Okay. And by the way, oh, we got somebody. Let's do this. So, shall we just jump into it? So we've got. Sorry about that. I didn't see you. What's your name, researcher? Is it a researcher? Go. Do you want to say something? And you can. Hello.
Yeah,
Assalamu alaikum.
so Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikum. Yeah.
So neither you or MDR fact check are against Palestinians, right?
Against
I,
Palestinians. That's right. You're right. Agree. We love Palestinians. I'm doing the stream to save Palestinian lives. Yes.
so now these the kids, the women, elderly people, those being killed. And Israel is saying that they have the right to defend. How you want to respond to Israel when they say they have the right to defend? They were being attacked. There was a uh, this their women were killed, their kids were killed as well, and they are going after the terrorists. So how should we respond if we are in favor of Palestinians to Israel's right of defense thing?
I mean, it's not normal to destroy a whole building trying to kill one person. Nobody ever does that. So that's the simple answer, I would say. But I mean, they're destroying, like, they're killing thousands of people rather than killing the militants. But I kind of see your point in a way, because they shouldn't be supporting Hamas. Hamas have like 40,000 people. Like, where do these 40,000 people come? Like, nobody should be supporting them. And this is what I'm saying. Like one of our Christian sisters who said 79% are like in favor of, armed resistance against Israel and all this kind of stuff, right? It doesn't help, and this is not the proper way. Like, okay, if there's a proper way, the Palestinian Authority, they should get an army, an official army, not an underground army, okay, and they should fight back, and Allah said they'll win, right? If they do it for the sake of Allah and they're defending their religion and stuff like that. But anyway, that's my short answer. Bashir, do you want to say something? And maybe I'd like to hear your opinion, researcher. But Bashir, you got anything to say about response about how, you heard the question, so,
Uh,
or did you?
I like, what's the solution? I don't think anyone has the answer to the solution. Um,
Like,
but
well,
but it should be, we're all caught up in a war since World War II. We've been in a constant state of war, even since the 1930s, because the buildup. Don't think we're living in a peaceful world. People are going through being persecuted everywhere in many different pockets. So that's the world that we live in, and there is no solution. So
oh, I gave a solution, by the way, but leave Palestine and it'll be fine. And I gave
well,
lots of logical reasons. But
I'll
anyway,
give the opposite. So Israel is a puppet government that NATO and America has been funding. Let's stop funding it, and let's bring in a Muslim government from the Palestinians and tell the Jews, y'all got to live underneath them because it's their land. You're not even come. I mean, come on, show some
the
respect.
problem is that's a nice idea, right? And it should be the case, right? Okay. But the problem is, meanwhile, while your idea is not working, Palestinian women and children, men are dying. So
No, because it's
I
not
don't
up
think
to me.
that's
Yeah, well, it's not up to me. What's going to happen? My opinion doesn't matter. This is
My
going to be
question is
a constant state
okay.
until World War III.
Cool.
right,
So
but
researcher
let me
could,
clarify. Let me
yeah,
clarify one thing. I am
yeah.
saying then so if the to the Israel we should say that don't attack. Is that what you're? I mean, they're
Yeah,
saying that
I definitely say ceasefire, right? And
ceasefire.
we
So
should make them ceasefire. But guess what? Are they listening? Do you know what I mean? Like, until, like, I'm saying there's different
no,
levels of
they're not
solutions.
listening. But they're not listening. But I just want to know what should we say to them? Like we say, okay, ceasefire, right? They're saying right to defend. We say ceasefire. That's not giving any. I mean,
Solution.
yeah, I mean, they are saying that kids were killed and women were killed, right? They want to go after terrorists. From
Yeah.
overside, from Palestinian side, we over kids, over children, over women are being killed, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we say to them ceasefire, would that response work to Israel, or what's the
Okay.
other way?
So
Do you
Israel,
think we should ask,
sure.
United Nations should come in between and should say at least let the women and kids leave that place,
Hmm, that's right.
evacuation.
Yeah. Okay, so my point of view is that the Israelis don't care about saving. They are genocidal. They like killing the Palestinians. They like it. Okay, they've even said it many times. Okay, so and anybody who wants to solve a problem, they don't just, like, imagine there's a thief in your neighborhood. Imagine, and they just bomb the whole neighborhood. That wouldn't make sense. You bring in the police and you get rid of that one particular criminal. So the everybody can see that Israelis are not interested in Palestinian lives. They don't care about that. That's the way I see it, and I think there's a lot of evidence behind that. You know, they've been killing people even before this. They've been killing without Hamas in the West Bank. They've still been killing people. You know, so this is just an excuse. I mean, what do you think? Don't you think that's an excuse?
Right. But what my solution is, you were also asking that what.
Yeah. What's your solution? Yes, please.
Yeah, I was thinking that United Nations and all these worldly organizations, they should come in, even including America.
Yeah.
You know why? I don't know why it's not doing that. They should come in the middle and they should say, at least let the people evacuate. Okay, let the people evacuate before you go for the terrorists, right? So that army fights with army. You know, I mean, shouldn't you allow? I mean, the kids are being killed. You know, think about it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Young kids. You know, it's such a terrible. I mean, even one kid is killed. It's such a terrible news. You know,
Mm.
it always.
But you know, they're not even letting people out. Like
Yeah.
there is a border, the Rafah border in Egypt. They're not letting people out. I think they want to kill the Palestinians. That's what I think.
So why
They've
why
actually
the
not just what I think, but they've been trying for a long time. They've been killing Palestinians and reporters. They're killing so many reporters who got these massive badges, you know, vests on that says press. Okay, more than any other conflict in the last 30 years, according to one organization, one like non-Palestinian organization. The point is that yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what Sabah Haq means by no. Maybe he's agreeing or disagreeing, or I don't know what we say. So, are you speaking now? No, no, he's not. Sorry, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
hey, brothers. Sorry to interrupt, and sorry me to take this in a different
Yep.
direction.
Yep. Yep.
What was your opinion on Lord Tariq, the Amdi who voted to abstain or didn't vote for the ceasefire, or there's something going on with some tweets? Even
Yeah.
Tahir Nasser was against it.
Yeah.
I thought he voted against the ceasefire, but he simply abstained with the UK government, which is like a weird, like I
Yeah. I
never figured
think.
out.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
All I will say is,
one more thing,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
comment
Go on.
on Kareem Khan, who's been at the South Gaza border. I'm sure you've seen the
Yeah.
videos.
Sure. So people might not know who Tariq Biti is or Kareem Khan. So let me quickly introduce. Tariq Biti is a lord, a conservative lord. Lord means like a high position, like an unelected leader in the British. I don't know what do they call it, Parliament. Anyway, so I was very disappointed. What can I say about this person called Tariq Biti who didn't ask for the ceasefire? He's an Ahmadi Muslim and he didn't. So I'm really shocked, really disappointed. Clearly, he's being controlled, or maybe he's got some weird ideas. So I disagree with him, right? So, but my focus is on what are solutions. I never say Ahmadi Muslims are perfect. Like there are some people who are confused, right? So he's done his weird thing and he's probably going to be very like the word is getting round, right? And he's going to be very unpopular with Ahmadi Muslims. He's made his choice, right? He's decided to put his political career over his religion. Who knows, right? So
Or maybe the Khalifa told him in the backroom dealing. And
anyway, suspicion, and Islam tells you not to be suspicious because it might end up be lying. Anyway, so what was the other one? There was something else. Kareem Khan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's a famous like international. He's a prosecutor for the International Court of Justice, like very top position to basically stop really bad things happening around
war
the
crimes.
world. War crimes, exactly. So he's an Ahmadi Muslim. I think I knew him when I was small.
And his brother was in parliament too. His brother and bro, didn't Kareem Khan marry the daughter of the fourth Khalifa?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he
Who
did. He
knows?
did.
I don't even know. Yeah, yeah. I think he did. I can't remember. I don't really care about these things. But anyway, the point is, like, what about him? So he went to Gaza because he's supposed to be there because he's, prosecutor for war crimes. So what was your? Are you just saying that he was there,
Oh, no,
or
I thought he also said that Israel has a right to defend itself.
Really? Oh, that's really
Well,
shocking.
I don't remember. Let me see if I can find it as
Well,
we're
it
running
depends what
time.
you mean by defend itself. Like you can defend yourself, right? But doesn't mean you kill everybody, like the whole country, all of Gaza. I'm not sure. I'm trying to because I heard one statement from him. It didn't sound anything like that, but maybe what? Put it in the comments. People can check for themselves because we're already gone over time. But if he said it, that would be really disappointing. Very, very disappointing. But I doubt that's true. But anyway.
Yeah,
So I appreciate. Go
and
on, go
no,
on.
I had a question for you as I look up the Kareem Hahn statements. But
Yeah.
similarly, how do you feel about how America made the Native Americans, especially in Florida, in the South, move out west, forcibly made them move, or you can all die, either forcibly move or we'll kill you all. How do you feel about that? And I get it. You don't live in America, so living in the UK might have been different because you're in their country. It's their. They didn't steal it from anyone but themselves. But in America, where we were, it was just, in fact, Tupac. I used to listen to, not as much anymore. His name is from a South American who did jihad until he died. So, what's your comment on the Native Americans, brother?
So I think I'm not sure the full details of what happened to them. Okay, there were definitely from what I know, they were fighting amongst themselves, killing themselves as well, one tribe against the other, right? So they don't like these innocent people, whatever. They were relatively backward compared to the Americans that turned up. Okay. And so why would I mention that, right? It's because maybe they didn't take full advantage of their abilities and they fell behind fighting each other and they got they got taken over by a stronger society, right? Now, it's not great that people are mistreated, okay? Um, and that's terrible. But I think, like the Quran says, the righteous will inherit the earth. And I think there's a logic behind that. The logic is when you're a good person, look at okay, let me put it this way, a very simple way. We used to have an Islamic empire. Why did it start falling apart? Because the Muslims stopped becoming righteous and they become self-indulgent and all this kind of stuff. And they fell it. Well, you don't know about the history of Al-Andalusia and how it fell apart. Uh, all great empires fall apart from inside. They implode first and then they're attacked from the outside. Okay, so that would be my answer. There's probably a lot of problems with the Red Indians as well themselves, right? And um, we love this victim mentality, like, oh, they were perfect and everybody was terrible and killed them off and all this kind of stuff. I'm not sure about the full history. I don't think they were perfect people. And I do believe in the Quran's general principle that if you're good, then you follow godly principles. And we know that Allah says in the Quran that all people are given guidance. So if they follow that guidance, they'll become extremely successful and they won't lose. And I would say back to the Palestinians again. They weren't a very strong country, and they've lost the country, unfortunately. They weren't very high tech civilization. You can see all of the Islamic civil. Look at all of these Muslim countries being flattened so easily because they do have problems. They do have corruption. Lots of it. Even Palestine, Gaza is well known for its corruption. Even Hamas, they've got their people in Qatar and stuff like that giving, you know, um, orders from the comfy houses in Qatar. So these people, I basically follow the Quran, whatever it says, and the Quran says that these people are not perfect. That the righteous will inherit the earth. So that's my quick answer.
No,
I don't know if that makes
let
sense,
me
but go
comment
on.
on that, brother.
Go
Brother.
on.
I can't even. It's hard to listen to that. In life, bad things happen. These are tests from Allah. When the Mongolians invaded, it was a test from Allah. It didn't mean Muslims weren't righteous anymore. No, 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 no.
You know what was
All of
happening? By the way,
Go
Bashir, do you
on.
know what was happening at that time when Mongols attacked?
Not exactly.
And they were in Baghdad. There was discussion happening that is crow halal or not. There was fighting happening between the clerics that is crow halal or not. while Mongols were ready to attack us, we were fighting between ourselves about these religious matters. So this was our condition.
I think I've researched something. I'm not sure about that, but like that does make sense. If you're a really good society, you'll be way too powerful for. Look at the Western societies; they're already falling apart by themselves, right? They're falling massive levels of depression. Elon Musk just says the biggest problem facing the world today is population implosion because they're not having marriages, they're not having children, they fall apart by themselves. So the Islamic idea of the righteous will inherit the earth works. How are the Muslims taking over England without a war? They're the mayor of London. They begin to control everything very quickly.
And what percentage of the UK is Muslim, bro? Not even 10%.
Okay, I'll tell you the numbers. They're
It's
five
like
percent of the
13%.
population.
No, 6%, bro. That's not, bro. That's nothing. 6%.
Okay, wait. Do you know the other statistic? What percentage of the children do Muslims have in England? Do you want to check
Oh
that
yeah.
up?
Well, in 30 years,
10%.
yeah, it's
Ten
gonna be a
percent.
huge shift.
They're
Yeah.
doubling, and everybody else is halving. Guess what? It doesn't. You have to have some patience anyway. So with
Right, right,
these
right.
kind of things.
But yeah, and that's a different thing altogether. Same thing in America. Same thing's happening in America, Japan. We're about to depopulate, brother. We don't even need this man. And okay, do you even know how so many people are on the planet? It was the invention of fertilizer. If it wasn't for fertilizer, we couldn't make as much food as we're making in the last 150 years. So this population, that's so many people, it was never this high to begin with. It's probably 1/10 global population what it used to be after the invention of fertilizer and etc. But a few
Okay.
more things. A few more things. Do
So,
you know Congressman? The only Palestinian congressman in America was silenced in Congress because she kept talking about the Palestinian issue, which
sure.
proves. And I guess my final statement, we're like 10 minutes over,
Yeah.
is
Sure.
we're living in a world where America has puppet governments all over. So does the UK. Okay, it's neo-colonialism.
Hmm.
Muslims are caught in the middle, and we will come out of it when the Mahdi comes and it sets up an independent government, and all this oppression will end. Okay, that's what's going to happen. You can already tell maybe it'll happen after World War III. We don't know, but World War III is going to be the big signifying event, and we'll see how the world is shaped after. Israel was started after World War One. It was
Hmm.
exemplified after World War II. So after these big wars, lines get drawn that weren't drawn before. So that's the Islamic perspective. You know, I feel the Ahmadiyya perspective is contradictory and disrespectful and behind the scenes. And Kareem Khan, isn't his brother also? He was in politics until he got caught up with that rape scenario. Imran Ahmad Khan, I think. You don't know about that one?
No.
So the only reason I brought these three up, Ahmadis always have these guys in politics like Zafrullah Khan who aren't voted in. Amnesties in America, not a single amnesty's ever been voted to any Congress.
So who put Zafrullah Khan into his position as Foreign
The
Secretary for
British and the
Pakistan?
amnesty, well, come on, bro.
Not the Prime Minister
Chaudhry
of
Zafrullah
Pakistan.
Khan, he was the one who defended Kashmir issue in United Nations, and first time Pakistan, the people voted in favor of Pakistan, and they gave the right of selecting if they want to go to Pakistan or India. They
No,
accepted Pakistan's position because of Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan.
yeah, we
So I
we
mean,
lost Kashmir and Gurdaspur district. We lost Gurdaspur because of Zafrullah Khan. And look, in the partition, this
Anyway, come on, sidetracking. Come on. All right.
and
Anyways, guys.
one last thing I want to
Yeah,
say
you say the last
on
thing.
this
I
topic.
appreciate research it. Let's
Yeah,
research it. Let's say the last thing, and then we'll
I
finish.
want to say one important thing. I don't know if it's last or not, but I think Muslims, Western countries, all are, playing politics. They are not really serious about kids being dying, women dying. I don't know. They need to see the pictures and all that. They think that they really don't know if they're dying. It seems like that.
They're
All
under
they're doing,
control
all they're doing is
of
playing
Jews.
politics and
Yeah.
villainizing each other, right? To me, the sincere thing should be that, okay, at least evacuate kids and women. And if Israel is not letting to do that, the United Nations and other countries should go after Israel, and that should be the real discussion, conversation all the time happening. Versus, if I look at Palestinian side, they
But
start
I mean,
looking into history and
do you agree that all these people are under the control of Zionists at the moment, or you
the
don't believe that?
Israel.
Zionists are the people who are not exactly, they are supposedly Jews, but a lot of them are atheists, but they call themselves Jews. And it's not just all Jews, a lot of Jews disagree with them. But they're the ones who have this plan to take over Israel and land and stuff like that. Do you
Yeah,
know about
yeah,
Zionists?
yeah. I know about that,
Yeah,
but there's more to it. Even the economy wise, I don't know if that's Zionist thing or not, but it's related to Jews as well. That overall world economy is
yeah,
also in kind of under their control. But what I'm saying is that I don't know why we are both sides are convoluting the point. They are not really focusing on saving kids and women.
yeah,
That conversation should happening every time. Forget about history, what happened in history, who's
yeah.
right, who's
You're
wrong.
right.
Every time there should be some discussion happening in United Nations how to get these kids and women out. If Israel is not letting do it, then that should be bring to front, and
Yeah.
the Israel should be questioned about it, so that it that should happen. They should be evacuated.
Hmm.
So this is a real consideration, and seriousness is needed from every side on this.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Jazakallah for appreciate your time, researcher Bashir. Appreciate your time, and we will better go. Bashir's at work, and it's almost midnight here. Okay. All right. Appreciate everybody's time. Please be upon you. Please do check out the beginning of the video where I basically gave all the Quranic verses and things like that about my arguments and what people should do to save their lives. So anyway. Salam. Assalamu alaikum, Bashir. Assalamu alaikum, researcher. Bye,
Alaikum.
everybody. Thank you, everybody, for taking part in the live stream as well.